For more content on today's episode, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti Facebook business page, the Al Nicoletti personal page, the YouTube channel under Al Nicoletti with all the amazing videos that you can see, all the content on probate, partitions, quiet title, all the incredible past guests that have been on the Al Nicoletti show. And make sure you check out the Instagram where all the micro content's dropping daily, the quote cards, the videos, at Attorney Nicoletti's, the Instagram. And of course, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti Show that is on iTunes and Spotify. All the amazing episodes, they drop weekly. There's about, I think, 30 to 40 episodes now. So make sure you check it out. And today is a special episode with the Biz Bros. I'm ready to dive in. Make sure you watch it all the way till the end. They are a blast to watch. So check it out, everybody. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, everybody. My name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in the community that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate on how you can take your company to the next level. On the show, I got the Biz Bros, Luis and Fonzie on the Biz Bros. These guys are the content profit machine. They are pumping out content all the time. I see them on live at least once a week. Sometimes I feel like I see them live every day. They are doing all the micro content, pumping out content, and leveraging the content so that you can help monetize that in your business and doing it all over the country, the state, finding out those areas, those niche areas where they can help blow up your business. They believe in content. They believe in the written word, the videos. So they are going to talk to us about how you can blow up your business with content, the use of content, so you can help better make your business grow every day, year by year, and leveraging that content. So, of course, I talk about the guests before I bring them on, and they are a blast. These guys, I was on their show, and as soon as they post their music, we're just dancing on the episode. So I can't wait to bring them on. I see them backstage. I love it. So the Biz Bros, right? Let's talk about who they are before they come on. These guys are legit content machine monsters. They have spent the last 5 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And throughout their journey, they discovered the systems and principles on how your business can achieve the frictionless sale. Frictionless sale. Let's talk about that one. They explore frameworks, strategies, and distribution models in order to turn your content into profit, right? Automating, systemizing, monetizing. They're going to talk about that. And in the last few years, they have helped companies like Orange Theory. Wow, really? I can't wait to hear about that one. Orange Theory. They're the super fitness place. Red Bull, JWB. We all love JWB, Power Property Management. The CSI companies, Think Different Theory, University of North Florida, Smile Stylist, F45 Fitness, and many more companies turn content into profit. And they find the correct messaging, consistent content structures are just the beginning of the pursuit of the frictionless sale. I love it. I hope that's the hook point, guys. I see them backstage. And they're currently working with long-form content creators, podcasts, and YouTube shows, and they turn their content into bite-sized, value-packed sessions like micro content. That's the idea. Micro content that you're constantly promoting and pumping out there that are generating cash assets that can maximize your efforts and multiply your message and impact, especially in the community. And on the episode, we are going to dive in and talk about the minimum viable content and the 45 live strategy. I think that's where you go live for 45 days straight, which is crazy. Never done that myself, but these guys have. Publishing pyramid. What's the publishing pyramid and how can you use it to better your business and monetize your business? And the 6-figure platform. Whoa, how you can get to those 6 figures using content and maximizing these strategies to get you to that next level. So without further ado, I'm going to make sure they put that music on because we got to start dancing to it. Welcome to the show, Luis Fonzie from the Biz Bros.
Hey, what's up? How you doing today?
There we go. Let's go.
And I hope you are home listening to this, are dancing too. Shake those hips, baby. I know everybody would think that we're DJs now. Let's go. Here we go. Ready?
I feel like we are one of those like dancing instructors in an hotel right now. We're like, everybody come on, get up, you know.
You guys have so much energy. I love how much energy you guys bring. I love your backgrounds, your drops, everything that you do. Welcome, guys. I love you guys.
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. First of all, getting to know you. You were on our show. Like, you dropped so many hashtag golden boulders, how we call them, right? We have the actual Nicoletti framework out of that show. So, you know, people interested in how you do things and how you create, go check it out, because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I gotta add, the love is mutual, my friend.
Yeah, this love is mutual. I love what you guys do, because we can all relate to the content that you all are putting out. It's important to use that and leverage it to make money. So tell everybody, who are the Biz Bros? What were you doing before you were the Biz Bros? And what are the Biz Bros doing today to blow up the business before we get into those models that I was talking about?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before the Biz Bros, we were just bros. We're actually brothers, and we are from Venezuela. We grew up there. Our dream was to play professional soccer, both of us, right? And so that was our life. We made every single decision to go and play in Europe. In our case, you know, that's where we wanted to go. I got the chance to go to Italy and Spain. Fonzie got the chance to go to Spain, and then we came back home for different reasons. I mean, that will be like a whole different episode, just Venezuela to the States. And then when we got here, right, we decided to take on soccer scholarships, and that's how we did school. And then after that, we asked our question when the dream wasn't, you know, it didn't come true. We're like, okay, what now? Like, what are we going to be doing? Like, all our decisions were based on this one thing that was taken away from us, right? So we decided to start a business, like many people do. Like, we're like, okay, we don't see ourselves in the corporate world. Like, most of my friends that were graduating were going either to, you know, logistics, finance, and that was not attractive to me. So we took on these different jobs and started our entrepreneurship journey with stickers. So that's where officially we became the Biz Bros, you know, legally as a LLC at the point. We had, what is an LLC? We had to do this. So yeah, that's the start of it. That's a fast version. Fonzie, did I do okay?
Yeah,
the fact checks.
That's pretty decent.
Oh, okay.
Pretty decent.
Okay.
I usually fact check him here and there, you know, put him in his place.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. So when did you both realize that the world of content, social media, going live, doing things on camera became super important, that you both had to take it to a level where you created a business so that you can help others create a business using that profit, that content for profit?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually remember that day like it was yesterday. So after the sticker, right, there were a few more businesses that we tried, right? I wouldn't even say businesses. I would say some ideas that we, you know, try to dabble with. And one of those was a social media marketing agency. At the point we were like, how are we going to market ourselves? We are going to be the anti-marketing agency. So we would go to everybody and ask them, what is your current marketing agency doing for you? And they would say X, Y, and Z. Are you happy with it? Not really. We can do it better, right? That was our entire pitch. We're like, we can do it better. And also, we don't know this, but we are underpricing ourselves, right? And we would go and we would fulfill for these people. But the issue was that everybody had different needs, right? So at that point, we thought we had a business, but we were just freelancers, no systems. We were doing everything, right? And it got to a point after investing in the first mastermind that the guy told us, hey, you need to focus. You need to pick one thing that you can deliver on and be extremely good at it, right? And then systemize that and build your business around that. And for us, it was a tough decision, right? Because at the moment we were actually doing email marketing. We were creating courses, right? We were doing the content itself. So at this point, we were actually working with content with Orange Theory, and we were doing the whole strategy. We were going there, filming, doing all the editing, the multi-purposing. And I mean, it was great, but it also got to a point where we were trying to sell them something else, like more content. And the guys were like, well, we love what you guys do. This is awesome, but where's your stuff? Right? And it was just like Muhammad Ali just step into the room, boom, boom, right, jab, jab, right hook. We fell down, knocked out. It was painful. We're like, what just happened, right? They literally told us, you are not practicing what you're preaching. So we had to look at ourselves and be like, okay, I think it's time for us to start publishing and see how we can do this, right? So we went back to the drawing board and we literally put all the pieces of the service that we were doing, and we're like, what are we gonna focus on? And my brother was like, content. And I was like, no, I don't want to do content because I'm doing all the editing and I don't want to do it anymore. And it got to the point where he convinced me. We decided to focus strictly on content, and that's where it started, just the whole content experience. And for us, once we decided to go all in on the service side, there was no other choice but, practice what we preach.
Right. I mean, so you were going after big companies. I mean, Orange Theory is no joke. I mean, they have what, all their gyms all over the country, all over Florida. So at that time, you realized something special about what the companies were doing and how you can do the content, the micro content. Were you making micro content with Orange Theory?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what happened was we got hired by our region, right? So they had about 10 locations, and we got into the studios and we deployed a system. We're like, look, all your managers are asked to do X amount of tasks, right? They have to manage a team. They have to train their team. They have to sell. They have to do all this stuff, right? And at the bottom of the line, right, that thing it's content, right? And if you're listening right now, you have a company, you probably relate, right? You're like, content is the last thing I'm going to worry about, right? Because our perception is that content is not driving the profits, where in fact, we actually need to be a content machine, right? We need to be investing in that content and then sell our product, right? We need to become that media because we got to control our message. We got to be in touch with our audience, right? So that was like the initial conversation that we had. And all the managers were like, yes, like, please take that out of my plate, because first, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Like, it just takes so much time to kind of sit down and plan out, what am I going to do, right? And then we plan for a year, and then whatever we plan for a year, it doesn't apply, right? Because now change is so quick, right? So it was just very overwhelming, right? So we came in and we're like, look, we're going to save you a ton of time, right? What are we doing? Like, we have amazing members in here. We have amazing stories. We have amazing questions that are being asked every single day. How can we provide value to this, right? So what we created for them was a structure, which later became the M2M and the system that we deploy for our people. And we would just need a couple of people from the region, right? For 4 hours a month. That's it. 4 hours a month, right? And then all of a sudden, those 4 hours were turned into an incredible amount of assets with different objectives, right? Not just social, right? Some of those assets will go to paid media. Some of those assets will go into the internal network that they had. Some of those assets will go to their email marketing, their sales pipelines, right? Somebody will call in, be like, hey, I want to know more about Orange Theory. Like, what, tell me more. And then they will ask questions. So we had pieces of content for those questions, and the staff will send them those pieces of content. We're like, oh my God, that's incredible. Hey, when can I come, right? And there's a perception out there that with content, we just need to be out there on social, where we can go so much deeper and integrate that content into our pipelines, into our relationships, into everything that we do for those. So that was like the initial project that we had with them. And that's why when Fonzie said we're in front of them trying to sell it, it's because the group of owners brought another small business owners in there. It was about eight people, and they're like, this is incredible, right? And then the comment was, where are you guys? I see the results here, but where are you guys? Why are you as a company not doing it, right? And maybe today I would have answered a little bit different, but at the time, I think this was 3-4 years ago, it felt like a really big gut punch. And we were like, oh no, baby, here we go, let's go publish.
So I can imagine at the time you're thinking, oh yeah, maybe we'll do that one day. Now you look back and you're like, we should have done that way sooner. Yeah. Get that done, do that, and grow how you are today. So when did you actually start Content is Profit? Like when did that start?
Yeah. So before Content is Profit, right, we were doing 45 Live. And even before 45 Live, we actually tried to start a podcast that we were calling Brews and Bros, right? And the whole idea was we were doing like a marketing challenge at the moment, just learning. And we were like, let's debrief it, right? Let's go record the podcast, debrief what we learned, right? Share our insight, and then we'll publish that. But at that moment, we were just literally trying to be, I raised my hand. It was my fault. I was trying to be a perfectionist, right? I love the lighting, the camera, the nice and dandy, good quality production. And at some point when we don't have the capacity, that just puts a lot of stress. It just overcomplicates and it stops you on your tracks, right? So we were recording Brews and Bros with 3 cameras, in my bedroom. So we had to, it would take us an hour just to set up, right? Moving the bed, putting the light, putting the cameras, everything. The camera had a 20-minute timer. So when it would stop recording, one of us had to get up and press it again. So you can imagine the post-production side of things, how awful would be, right? Guess what? We didn't obviously edit any of those episodes that we recorded for Brews and Bros. So if you guys look for them, you will not find them. We have them in the vault. You might find them someday.
Send us a DM. Send us a DM.
Hey, let's see them. Why don't you post that? That would be a great, like, the beginnings. What was the beginning of starting content as profit? And go back, and it's laughable. I'm sure you go back as
100%.
You know,
just, there's this clip where Fonzie, we used to call him Hispanic Jesus because of like his hair. It was just so long, right? And so he's in that mode, and then all of a sudden I just dropped the beer on top of the computer, and this thing is like, what's happening? So all this is recorded, right? And I'll tell you, like, every single person that started with content at some point, right? That's their biggest fear, something like that happening, right? And it did happen to us. And then guess what? We stopped, right? For a long time.
For a year. We stopped for a year.
For a full year, right? So you would imagine, what if that, like, again, if I had somebody telling me, right, hey, you got to do this, right? And that's when the gut punch came. We started 45 Live, and we proved that consistency works, right? Because it was 15 days in, we got our first 6-figure clients. Like, that changed everything out of one Facebook Live video because we're providing that value. So fast forward a little bit, COVID happened, right? A lot of our local clients closed doors. And within a week, we lost about 80% of all our sales, all the people that were coming in. It was a big one, right? I just had to step out of the office. Fonzie's like, just go get a Walkman. You're about to have a heart attack. Like, what's going on, right? Because it was all at once. We were not used to that. And I kind of understood the owners, but at the same time, it's like, this is the last thing you should be cutting because you need to be in touch with your customer base right now, right? This is the moment where you can develop those relationships to when the doors open, they're right there for you. You don't have to resell, or you don't have to like remarket. It's gonna help you too. So at that point, we decided, because we had some time and some capacity because the clients left, right? We're like, let's start the show. We have this time, and then let's dive in, right? And we took all those lessons from the previous time to remove the friction, and we decided to go live 3 times a week. So that quickly evolved. It was just us for about 20 episodes. Then we were like, we're running out of things to say. So let's bring in people. And then we started bringing these incredible guests and people that were tied to us in our masterminds, coaches, different things, right? Relationships. And then all of a sudden, within 3 months, we recover all the sales that we had, not just in Florida, but like around the country, right? Within 6 months, we were able to hire a full-time team. So now it's not just us, right? Now we have a full team of 6 people, right? So it's been incredible. And this platform, right? Call it podcast, call it content, call it micro assets. That platform itself is what literally changed everything for us. So if you're listening and you are not publishing, please start.
Right. And let's talk about the publishing and the minimum viable content, the 45 Live, right? There's nothing more frictionless than going live frequently and getting rid of that feeling of you feel scared in front of the camera. You feel scared doing the content, right? So tell everybody, what is 45 Live and how can you tackle that minimum viable content?
Yeah, absolutely. I think before addressing what is a 45 Live, is where did it come from, right? And we already dove into it a little bit, the pain of not publishing, these companies, right hooking us and be like, guys, where's your content? But at the end of the day, we were actually inspired to do this by 75 Hard. And I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it's a fitness challenge from Andy Frisella, right? And it's all about building mental toughness. It's not just about getting fit. It's mostly about the discipline. And you have to go work out like twice a day for 45 minutes. You gotta eat healthy, drink water, all these things, right? And we were doing that challenge at the moment. And when we ask ourselves, okay, how can we be consistent with publishing? How can we create content? Immediately we started thinking, wait, we've been doing this fitness challenge for like almost 60 days at this point. I think it was like, we've been extremely consistent with it. What are the elements, right? How can we apply that to content, right? And we started seeing, okay, it's a challenge. Like, we love challenges, honestly. We're like, can we make it fun? Can we gamify it in a way? Then we start thinking, okay, well, the Brews and Bros didn't work out because we had so much friction. It was an hour to set up. So how can we remove all that? Oh, we just gotta go live. Just press one button and that's it. You talk for whatever time you want to talk and you're done with it, right? So we decided, okay, let's pick an amount of days. I think we picked 45 just because it kind of sounded good. 45 live, and no real reason, no scientific reason behind it. But we're like, okay, 45 live sounds good. Let's start doing this, right? And it was crazy. Like you still feel some friction, but I think it's more on the internal side of, am I gonna, be able to express my message properly in camera? But once you get rid of that, and you're like, you know what? I'm okay with whatever, because it's usually that fear from the other person on the other side. It's like, what are they going to think about me? And once you get rid of that and you get rid of all the other friction, you start going live and you start building that habit, and you still building confidence, right? At the end of the day, experience builds up into confidence, right? So you start knocking these videos one day after the other one. And guess what? For us, it took us 15 days to get a tangible result, right? A client. And we've then evolved the 45 challenge. We decided to do it again ourselves. Then we had a little bit promos that we were doing. And the last one, we decided to do it public. We invited a group of people. We're like, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to gamify this even more. We're going to do raffles. We're going to have like bingo cards, extra challenges. And we had 100 people that wanted to join in, right? And they jump in. And out of those 100, I think it was like 10 or 15 that actually did the entire 45 live. Yeah. But it was absolutely amazing, right? And you see their confidence building up. You see them sharing their message. You see some of them getting clients too, right? And it's like, that's what it's all about. It's about you sharing your message. Mm-hmm. And we actually had Danny Gomez in our podcast not too long ago. And he said, you got to understand that your message is not for everybody, but it is for some people, and it will be extremely important for those people, right? So the 45 live, it helps you get in that mindset of creation, right? Transition from being a consumer, stop swiping all the time on Facebook, Instagram, and be a creator. Because once we start putting our message out there is when we're going to start attracting the people that we want to serve.
Right. And if you just constantly get in front of people, they're going to know what you do. You're gonna speak what's on your mind, tell people what you do, and more people will watch. So what would you say are some important topics that people can talk about on the 45 live, and or how long can you go? How long do you go on a video to keep just enough attention? Right? There's a lot of psychology with this. And when do you do it?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have
slightly different
answers. First, I want to add this, right? Yeah. As we started talking, is crazy because once you put your thoughts into words, you start actually challenging your own beliefs too. And you're like, wait, do I actually believe this thing, right? Am I 100% standing behind what I'm saying? And then also you start kind of like joining ideas and you start creating your own frameworks. And one of those frameworks that we created, for example, one of those, I don't know if framework per se, but a concept was that consistency is art. Right? And ART is an acronym for authority, relevancy, and trust. What you're saying, right? Because we realized that since we were in front of everybody, the perceived authority that we had now in the marketplace was insane. People were like, I see you guys everywhere. You guys know so much about video. And we're like, we're just doing a 45 live at this point, right? And then they trust us, right? Obviously, the trust comes from the personality factor, right? People that see your show, they obviously love you and they keep coming back. Mm-hmm. So when they need some advice, they're going to come to you. You build that trust, that connection, right? And relevancy, because you're consistently talking about those topics, about those problems that they're having, those challenges. And they're like, whenever they need a solution, the first person they're going to think about is you. You're going to have that top of mind awareness, right? So
I'll give you a couple of examples, right? Like, for example, for me, very personal, like for me, like the fact that a lot of friction was coming from trying to figure out what to say, right? And those things like, what time do I post? Like, should I do this like in the morning? Should I do that in the afternoon, right? At the end of the day, it was at the time that I was feeling in high energy where I could be less friction of grabbing my phone and going at it, right? So we got to identify those friction points. What are those? Like for some people trying to figure out the time, that's going to be a big hurdle, right? Trying to figure out like the platform, because now LinkedIn has live or Instagram, whatever, right? It doesn't matter the platform. We chose Facebook because that's where our community was, the people that we were connecting were at the time. And so what I did, it was like, okay, let me run my decisions through a very simple framework. I'm going to grab something that I learned either yesterday or today, or something that happened, a situation, and then I'm going to relate that situation. I'm going to tell it as a story, and then I'm going to relate it to my business, right? So to, my example was at day 15, right? I was coming home, right? About 11 p.m., right? My son was about 4 months old, and I get home, and that was about the time that I had to give him the bottle, right? While I was driving home, this regional manager calls me, and he's like, dude, the piece of content that you guys just published, it's going ballistic, like take it down. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's a good thing, right? And I'm like, no, take it down. Like people are like smashing it, whatever. And they said a joke, right? And what we grabbed was that joke, right? And we put in there, and it turned out to be a very polarizing piece of content. So members from the studio were defending the piece, people from outside were not defending it. So we're like, dude, this is great. Like you have this incredible engagement. Like the video in like the first 3 hours had about 5,000 views, and we're like, we're not taking it down, right? This is really good business for you. And these huge fights. So I get home, I'm all like angry. I'm like, wow, and I'm like, dang it, I have to do my 45 live video. It's almost midnight. So I grab the baby, right? I fit him, I put him back to his crib. And this was the first time that I was not in a studio or near the office. It was in my house. It was in my apartment. So I'm like, okay, the least friction is I'm going to sit there and I'm going to do the video, right? And then I tell this story, and 15 minutes later, we got the text that kickstarted that whole relationship for that first client, right? So for me, that was it, right? When we ran the challenge publicly, we started identifying that those are the fears. Like, what if I don't get engagement, right? Does it matter? No, that video, to me, the one person that saw it was the one person that mattered, right? It's all about consistency, right? If you stop because you're trying to figure out what is the best time to create, then the video is not going to see the light of day, and there's not going to be consequence after that. You cannot build the art that Fonzie was saying, right? So at first, what we recommend is like remove all the friction, identify those, and start creating. What happens is as soon as you start creating, more ideas are going to start coming to your head. You're going to start writing them down in this notebook. You're going to be like, okay, I posted in the morning yesterday. Now I posted at night. What happens, right? And it was incredible because we had this group going with all the members, right? And it was funny. We would do like a 10:30 p.m. announcement. We're like, heads up, time is almost done for today. And you will see everybody literally like submitting their links and their videos, right? But they got it done, right? They got it done. And the video, what happens is it stays there, right? So people the next day can see it. So, those are a couple like examples of, okay, how do we do this? Because at the end of the day, we want to start building that relationship with our audience, grabbing a lot of feedback to see where we can add value.
Yeah, we actually had somebody that they were like, I don't know if I can speak for 3 minutes, right? Like, what am I going to talk about? Their first ever video was 30 minutes. I'm not kidding. Like, just talk for 30 minutes. And we're like, that's fine. I mean, did somebody stay and listen to you for the whole 30 minutes? Maybe not, right? But they just saw you on the feed, right? And that's the other thing. They don't necessarily need to consume the content for you to build art, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're popping up, boom, in front of them, right? They're gonna skim the headline. They might listen to 15 seconds, and they're gonna start building that connection to, oh, this is what they do, right? This is how they can help me. And as soon as you keep popping in front of them on their feed, trust me, you're gonna be building that art.
Yeah, another thing that I've realized too with putting out content, whether it's micros, quote cards, all these other things, whether even going live, right? Like live like this. For me, I don't care if there's a like, a love, a laugh, a hug, it doesn't matter, right? Because eventually, while it's live, that's great. But when it's over, it's still out there and people view it, views, right? And so there's also that part of it too. It's just going live. And then later letting it sit and letting the stream flow out there, flow. So people that don't do it are missing out on that end. And that's what you both believe in, is just pumping it out all the time. I love that, right? Like I love that style of micro, pushing out content and letting it go. And it just works.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At the end of the day, you cannot deposit likes and comments, right? And it's about that. It's about just getting in front of people as many times as you can.
I love it, guys. So tell us about what is the publishing pyramid? Like, what is this thing that I don't even know what it is? I don't even know if we talked about it on your show, but tell us, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. I'll give you this one in just a second.
Thank you.
But the story behind it, I'll add the story behind it. He can go with the framework, but it's one of those frameworks that were created through us sharing our message, right? Like we were talking, right? We were on our show, on the lives, and then we actually got invited to somebody else's show, and she started asking us some questions, and as we started explaining, this framework started to get created, and she was like, so it's kind of like a pyramid. And in that moment, literally, it clicked for us. We're like, that was to a piece of paper, draw it, what are the steps that we said? Boom, 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 right? And my brother is going to go ahead and he's going to say it, but this framework wouldn't have been created at all if we weren't publishing at the end of the day.
Yeah, so the publishing pyramid, I mean, later became one of our keynotes. So we were at Podmax, Podfest, VidFest. Like this was something that we were able to bring to that, and then it will potentially turn into a product. So I want to see people to see, like, from publishing, the evolution, but in quick, like, what is it, right? We got to understand it from the top bottom, right? And this happens for every single level, whether it's just you yourself, big company, publishing company, everything, right? And this is why this is so beautiful, right? So how do we understand it? The first, like the top of the pyramid, the first thing that we see at the top is the resources, right? Like, what are our resources as entrepreneur, as a business? Is it just me? Do I have a team? Do I have a budget to hire a team? Like, what is it? I need to understand what is that. So for example, for us in our story with the first podcast, we did not understand what the resources that we had. We had the equipment, yes, but we didn't have the time to produce the piece of content, the first piece of content, right? Not even talking about the promotion of it, right? So we did not understand, and that's why we failed, right? Later in our journey, when we launched Content is Profit, we totally understood our capacity and what the resources that we had.
I want to add a little parenthesis there. And people often, the reason why we understand it to the top to the bottom is that's because how it is perceived when we see people like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Like all these people that are consistently creating content, you see them publishing massively, and you're like, oh, I gotta aim for that. I gotta get there, right? We're comparing our day one with their day 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, talk about, we love YouTube. We follow this guy, Mr. Beast, right? I was listening on a show the other day. This guy spends $4 million per YouTube video, right? And you see the video, and it's like, it looks like a kid made it, right?
Yes.
But it's $4 million, not the production value. It is what goes around it, right? Joe Rogan, right? In the podcasting world, he's been publishing for 10 years, right? These are the things that we don't see, right? And the perception. Now, the second stage, right under understanding those resources, is what is our capacity to create and distribute this content, right? So some of us, right, when we first started, and if you are starting in content, you're going to probably have different responsibilities within your company, right? If you're a solopreneur, there's a lot of hats that you got to wear. One of those is being the content creator, right? If you are not, like, there's still some stuff that you got to do. So what is the time that you can allocate on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, to create and promote, right? Because promotion is probably as important or more than just the creation process, right? So a lot of people misjudge that, and they're like, okay, I'm going to create like all these videos, right? Let's say typical YouTube batching strategy, right? I'm going to create all these YouTube videos within a day, right? 80 videos. And then they don't account for the time that they have to sit down, write all the captions, put all the links together, put them on YouTube, right? And then guess what? We stop because that was not accounted for. So we got to make sure that we, keep an eye on that capacity. For us, when we started 45 Live, we were like, okay, our capacity is going to be 10 minutes a day, where in 5 minutes, I tell my story. And the next 5 minutes, I'm going to distribute this on Facebook and LinkedIn. That was it, right? That was it. And we stuck to the plan, right? So understand your capacity, right? There's some people out there that have producers on the show. They take care of that, right? So what is their capacity, right? If you have a team, what is their capacity? The next step right below that is consistency, right? We got to understand the consistency on how can we push this content. Like we gotta figure out what's gonna be our cadence of how many times a day am I gonna do this? How many times a week am I gonna do this, right? What is the commitment? And then right below that, right, is your message. So why 45 Live is so powerful is because we discovered that message. Like we had this guy that we've been working with, and he came to us and be like, I want to do something, like I'm in this job, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm like, sounds good, this is great, right? He said, do you know what you're gonna do? He's like, honestly, I don't know. I have this thing in corporate that I've jumped jobs. I got more money like in my second job. Like I think I can teach that system. I'm like, sweet, sounds good. Okay, your first task is go out and publish for 45 days, right? And he's like, what am I going to talk about? And this is the same guy that spoke for 30 minutes for his first live. What happened was the first week he unplugged it, right? He continued to talk, right? And then he identified what his message was, like his 4 pillars, right? He said, one of my pillars is family, the other one is this, XYZ, right? And we're like, sweet. Then deviate for that, because this is how you are creating content. This is how you remove the friction from all the research, which can come later, right? But for now, this is what it is. Guess what? People started like asking questions and relating to his stories, right? And he stayed consistent. And guess what? He was able, at the end of the 45 day, he was able to create a product out of the feedback that the people were getting, selling that product, and then launching a show, which, by the way, got him like a $5,000 gig within 2 days, which in his country is about a 5-month worth of like living expenses. Wow. It was insane because he focused on the message, right? So it's like, okay, if I am publishing, what is my message? You have it mega clear, right? You're like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I serve. A lot of people that start, including us when we started, we had no idea, right? And, as we grow the company, there's going to be different levels, right? So perfect. Now that we understand, let's execute from the bottom up, right? So with the message, same thing, start publishing, start putting your face out there, right? Then how can I stay consistent? Make sure that you get ready to do that. I remember having a conversation with the head of an accounting firm. Wow. That was really challenging.
Big word right there.
Yeah, that was really challenging for some reason. But she was very worried, right? Because the day that she had to create content, she was not going to look okay, right? And for her, that was like really important, like her hair, like her clothes, everything, right? So we're like, sounds good. Like, how can we, priority number 1 is publishing, right? That's it. We got to do it no matter what. How are we getting ready for the day? Yep. So the night before, make sure that you don't have to make a decision in the morning on what am I going to wear. So she started doing that, and then she created that consistency, right? So it's like, okay, how can we work backwards to that? Capacity, again, if it's just you, make sure that you are aware of that, and then create with that obviously in mind. If you have a team, make sure that you account for their capacity to create, so that way everything is consistent. And then obviously at the top, what happens after all this is met is that your resources are going to start increasing, because you're going to have call to actions. People are going to start reaching out to you, and then you can reinvest in the entire pyramid and grow all together. So that was a quick summary.
And at the same time, you become an influencer in a way, right?
Absolutely.
We have incredible people that have been watching. Bhaskar loves doing like the Facebook sponsored ads. He loves putting people out there. So Bhaskar is watching. What's up, Bhaskar? And Zach Wooldridge. So Zach's a super investor in the Panhandle. And so when he's doing content, he's always doing stories, and he loves showing the house. Like he'll go live, and he'll just go live. His face is like right there. He doesn't care. He'll go live. He'll show the house. He'll show everything. So he'll take that one live video, make it into a story, make it into more content. Eventually, we'll see Zach have his YouTube channel, be blowing it up everywhere.
Yes, let's go.
Right? You got these real estate people that are using the houses they're trying to sell, or the houses they're trying to flip, so they can maximize their viewers. So people are like, whoa, you're doing these deals. How are you doing these deals? What could we do? How can we partner? Right? So you're showing people what you're doing. What advice would you both give to people in our real estate, local community, Florida? Because all about the shows, that real estate vibe, and how you all, the content is profit, the Biz Bros, can help people in the real estate world blow up their business using the content. So what advice would you give on how to blow it up in the real estate world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first thing to look and understand is that the content you're creating maybe is not just for that immediate transaction. And I think a lot of people look at it that way, right? When we say content is profit, doesn't mean you're going to put a piece of content and then you're going to get a PayPal notification of $2,000, right? But and you mentioned it, right, is partners in this point, right? And contacts, referrals. Like, you are going to be, again, top of mind for people that are watching you. And guess what? Whenever I'm looking for a house, if I see a realtor right there in front of me, always posting about their options, guess who I'm gonna go to? That person. Or if my brother comes to me and he says, like, dude, I'm thinking about going and buying a house. Do you know anybody? I'm like, I got the guy, because I always keep seeing it in front of us, right? So I would say, first, I love that idea of showing it in stories. A lot of people are consuming super small form content on these days. I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I open that app, I go into stories and I watch the stories first before watching anything else,
yeah.
right? So super, super powerful, and it allows you to link and all that stuff, right? But besides the technicality, focus also on partnerships, right? One example is JWB. They have done absolutely amazing with their show, right? And this is not full transparency here. We were part of building that project with another company. Shout out to Pablo Gonzalez, right?
Pablo.
And yeah, Pablo, the Pabro, we call him now.
Bro.
Honorary third bro of the Biz Bros
Yeah.
at this point. But they did a great thing, which is use the platform to build partnerships with people from the city, investors, and at the same time, that platform was working as an education platform for their audience, people that wanted to learn about real estate, people that wanted to start investing in the Jacksonville market, right? So now you have so many possibilities, because you get, maybe first picking deals that are happening here and there. And whenever somebody's looking to invest, who are they going to go to?
Yeah.
To that company that is educating them, is teaching them, and is being transparent and honest about everything that's happening. So honestly, for a real estate person, I would say that is the way to go.
I would add to that, identify like how are you comfortable creating, right? Like for Zach, for example, I'm sure going live and showing those properties, right? Because he had the resource, one of the resources is the property in front of him, right? We call those props, right? That's a massive prop, but still, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can use that as leverage to create, right? There's some people that know, but there's people that use the power of the platform. And again, we're going to call it platform. Let's not call it podcast. That's just a distribution channel. Like, what are you creating? It could be like an Instagram live, right? The relationship is probably the closest path to cash, right? To increase those resources and then leverage it for an audience, for example. So then you can use those resources for paid, right? So leverage that relationship. There's a couple of things, as in referrals, never ending referrals, right? There's a secret to that. It's like, just ask, right? So at the end of our show, we ask everybody, hey, do you have 3 people that could be a good fit for the show, for example? Because we live in that market. Those are not leads for the show, but they're also leads for the business if we are a good fit for them, right? So super important. People forget that. And the content is the vehicle to create those relationships, while you create the art and consistency at the front for the audience to trust and believe in you to then create that transaction, right? It just takes time on the audience level. So it's like, okay, this is perfect. How can I use my platform? Whether that's those videos, whether that is an interview, whether that is an Instagram live, doesn't matter, right? But let's build both sides at the same time.
It's a long-term game, honestly, right? And I think a lot of people have the impression that it's just one quick thing.
They're wrong about that, because when I first started posting like every day, all the time, right? I was like, gosh, 8 months ago. And back then it was like, oh, wow, the initial reaction, whoa, there he is. And then you can tell it kind of dips down a little bit, goes down a little quiet. And you're just like, is anybody alive? Anybody who's here? And all of a sudden it takes off, right? So I've noticed that a lot recently too. So it does take time, right, Fonzie? Long game and doing all this. You have to make it consistent. You have to do it. But you also have to find the niche that you're doing it in, right? Like, you're not just shooting it and doing it a bunch of different things. You're doing what you want. And I love what you talk about. Focus on that thing that you want to do, right? Focus on that one thing and do it really well, blow it up and make it happen.
Yeah, there's different, things that we can tag along to leverage that creation, right? But without the creation, we cannot tag along those things to do that. So for example, obviously TikTok, you heard the news, right? You just surpassed YouTube as views per user. Like, incredible, right? So sweet, that's a wave that's happening. It's going to continue to happen. People are like growing a lot in there, right? So that's fine. The framework still is the same. It's just we create in a different platform, right? Or we create content for that, right? So it's like, okay, but the first thing that is like, you have to create, right? So let's, what Fonzie was saying, transition from that consumer to creator, and then you can go into this platform. Where's my audience, right? And you will only find out by publishing and asking the people, like, are you guys actually interested in this thing? And people are like, yeah, they're gonna raise their hands, right? Sounds good. This is my people. They say no, well, let's find a different pond, right? Let's go there and see what happens, right?
Yeah, that's the other element that people miss. They forget to ask the person that is watching their content, hey, do you need help with this problem, right? A lot of people feel that they just, if they talk enough about the problem and maybe some solutions, people are just gonna come to them. It's like, hey, you gotta remind them sometimes. You gotta include those calls to actions.
Right. Include that call to action so they do something about it, right? That's it. I love it. So tell us about the 6-figure platform. What is that? When are we going to get to the 8-figure platform, guys?
Oh boy.
Yes, that'll be that's the goal right there. But
it can be an 8-figure platform. It's just the way that it's a 6-figure platform because it's how it started for us, right? So it depends on what your business is and what the ticket that you sell depends on that. But same thing is that concept of the platform is in the middle, right? I'm building at the front is the audience that's going to go. So if it's brand new, it's just going to grow with time. So it's like, okay, how can we capitalize on, you know, the money, the cash that's out there, right? Who has it? Previous customers, our own customers, our testimonials, the referrals, different things. So it's like, okay, how can we create a system, right, that we can do this consistently multiple times a week that we enjoy and it runs automatically on the back end. So as a big summary, that's it. I don't know, Fonzie, if you has anything else to add.
I mean, I just want to add all these concepts that we've been talking about, right? The publishing pyramid, art, minimal viable content, right? All these things literally help us build that 6-figure platform, right? When we put them together, it becomes that, right? You systemize, right? You understand your message, your consistency, your capacity, your resources, and then include your goals, where you want to go, right? Your vision. What are the partnerships that you want to develop? How can you nurture those partnerships before, post, show, all these things, right? There's plenty of elements, but at the end of the day, the main piece is you need to have that platform, right? Where is that place where you are going to build your status alongside the people that you're bringing, and you're going to build that relationship with them that you can further monetize, right? And guess what? You're not going to monetize 100% of those relationships, but you're going to make friends. You're going to have people that after having conversations with you, they're going to present you with other opportunities. They might say, you know what? This is not for me at the moment, but I know of 3 other people that they would be absolutely amazing for you, right? And that is the thing. It's about putting yourself in a position to have more opportunities. Consistency is art. Consistency is opportunities. So building this platform and sticking to it consistently with the systems, right, the right processes is going to present you with an incredible opportunity to grow your business.
And it just takes off. I know. I see it with what you guys do, right? Constantly do it. And it blows up from there. And now it's like, when I see you guys, I'm like, whoa, it's like, Luis, like when you came into the apartment, when I'm building this studio, I saw you, I'm like, whoa, it's Luis. And you're thinking like, wait a second, I'm just the guy on the content is profit. But like, that's what this does. That's what all this does. It really puts you out in the mainstream. And so it's fantastic. Yeah. What can you offer with your services? Like, that's a big thing here, right? So tell us about your packages. What can you do to help people grow with the content and just blow up?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, right? So we have our main product is called Content Momentum, right? And it's the production of that content attached to different elements on how can we grow that platform, right? It's all focused on, if we already creating that kind of content, we can start with people that haven't done it in the past. Normally our preferred type of client is people that are creating video podcasts because they're already in the creation move, right? So that's one. There's different levels to that, where as you increase the price point, there's more leverage, there's more different elements in there. we've recently partnered with a podcast production agency, because a lot of people are coming to us be like, okay, you guys are running a show. And the way that we produce our show is very frictionless. So there's no post-production, right? So we literally do the interview and that gets published the way that it is. But we partner with a lot of people where like, I need a solution for this. I want to do it. So now we're offering podcast production packages as well. And then those can grow into the content momentum, which is the multi-purposing, the support, and the different lever pieces that we can do. Coming soon. Coming soon. Ooh. Yes. So we're getting ready for an event in a couple of weeks, but we're actually going to use that event as a platform to do this thing. So the 45 Live Challenge was live for the first time a couple months ago. We're probably going to do that again. And then the 6-figure platform thing is coming, right? So we're still like seeing, okay, what it is, because a lot of people, apart from the podcast production and the multi-purposing, are like, wow, guys, I see you everywhere. I see the relationships that you guys are creating. I see what it means, right? How can we do the same, right? Especially a lot of the guests that we've been able to have on the show have shown very good feedback. And they're like, you guys have to do this. So what we're doing right now is creating that program. Is probably going to be either a mix of a mastermind with accountability and content side of things to leverage the heck out of this and take it to a new stratosphere, right? So it's gonna be fun. That's coming soon. Stay tuned in our social media accounts at Biz Bros. But yeah, coming very, very soon. I don't know, Fonzie, do you need to add anything else in there?
No, I think that was pretty good. We like for people to think about it as your plug and play, high volume content multi-purposing team.
Right. I mean, helping you all put it together. Content is profit. And that's what it's all about. If you can create that mastermind, create that for people, I wonder when we're going to have like the Jack's Podfest, like get all the podcasters together, and do like a big podcast. That'd be kind of cool. Like at a table or something. May need to organize something like that.
Absolutely. I'm actually taking note of that right now. So we need to talk it out. I like this idea a lot. Yeah.
Jack's Podfest, right? Like you'll get Pablo, Luis, Fonzie, even JWB, like, get everybody and kind of have like a group podcast. So it's really cool. Really cool.
People in the city, like doing their content, huge shout out to Gary too. He has a podcast suites and they're crushing it because they're allowing this platform to be accessible for a lot of people that they might not be able to get in without that, right? Because there's some technicality to running a show, right? There's some equipment. I was so impressed when I went to like your studio. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want all of this. Like how, right? And it's those things because it reflects the personalities, right, of everybody. But there's people that causes friction. Again, that causes friction. So people providing those solutions is incredible. And there's something out there for everybody. You literally could only run a podcast out of your phone, right? Just an interview out of your phone. So I really want to encourage everybody to do that. And when we do the Jackspot Festival, come hang out.
There you go. See, when we do it, there we go. I love it. And Luis, since you've been here, the walls actually got things on them. You can see the foam stuff, and then the shelf's starting to have stuff on it. Yeah. And in the beginning, when the shows first started, there was like nothing on the shelf, and then as time comes on, there's things out there. Do you guys have any like small Biz Bro foam things or like little books or something? We'd love to put it on the shelf as well.
Man.
We have I don't know if we can get them right now, but we have a couple of figurines that we found at Target, and but they're not us secretly, but they look like us. But no, we have to think. We have to do that because there's a lot of people. You can have that helmet that Fonz is wearing right now, and
I'll take that. We'll put that on the shelf. That'll take the whole shelf.
Yes, I will write a note because a lot of people are like, hey, maybe like a little golden boulder. Golden boulders.
Well, yeah, just something that we could put up on the shelf. I'd love to put you guys there.
Yeah, we definitely need to do some of that. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
So here, we've actually been thinking about part of the process of following up with the guest, right? How can we, be top of mind? They get interviewed and other things. That you just mentioned is a great idea. How can we create, maybe the golden boulder, right? And share this, like, hey, send that to every single guest. Like, thank you so much, man. Like, this is a representation of all the value that you provided on the podcast, right? So Great idea right there. Al.
Are you
There
ready?
we go.
You're gonna receive something pretty soon. I'll find. I'll tell Fonzie what I have in mind. It's gonna be hilarious. Hopefully, people catch the joke. But yeah,
What about a Luis and Fonzie bobblehead?
Luis and Fonzie.
I mean,
Oh.
you wanna pick that one up that we got right there. So fun story. We actually went to Target one day, and I think it was my brother's wife. She sent a picture of this figurine that looked, I think, exactly like me. And I was like, what? This is insane. Buy it, right? It was like $5. And then my brother was like, oh man, they don't have one that looks like me. Like 2 days later, I go to Target and I'm walking around and I see the same box of my figurine. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Full transparency. It's not us. They're actually like some other influencers. But I moved the box, and behind is one that looks just like my brother. So yeah, we got these ones right here.
Oh, that's great. That's
They've been
great.
part of- yeah, we should like put them back into the show.
Yeah,
They were part of the show for a long time, and people were like, "How do you guys make those?" And like Target sponsoring us. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, hey
Yeah.
guys, this has been a blast. I love having you both here. You provide so much value, so much content, and I love having you. And I was so grateful to be on your show. Tell everybody, where can they find you? Where is everything? We'll put the chyrons up, but tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah. I mean, you guys can find us on Facebook and Instagram, mainly at Biz Bros Co. If you want to listen to Content is Profit, and I totally recommend you to listen with the episode with the great almighty Al Nicoletti, please just look for Content is Profit and you will find it. Or you can go to contentisprofit.com/listen and you can just pick whatever platform you prefer. But you'll find us there. We're always hanging in social media. So feel free, DM us any question that you may have from this show. Just say like, hey, I'll send me. And obviously we're going to give you the special treatment.
I love it. On the bottom, I see that it says Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You guys go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday with a guest.
Yeah.
We do.
That is crazy. How do you keep up with? That's a good question for me. Like, how do you keep up with like 3 guests a week? For me, 1 a week. I'm like, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Well, that's where the magic of the 6-figure platform comes in, right? Systems and processes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day and this is the other thing, right? We know what is the output of content that we want to have after we do the show too, right? So the structure of it, everything, but we systemize it in a way that it takes us around maybe top 30 minutes to prepare for the interview that we're going to have with our guest. And then,
Yeah,
it's a go.
We've debated about doing it every day too, just so you know. So if we can do it 3 times a week, I'm sure everybody can at least do it once a week. This is so powerful, guys, to have 50. If you do it once a week, it's 52 high quality opportunities right there in front of you that you can leverage. So if you like the idea, send us a DM. I'm interested in 6-figure platform. Launch it, do it. Let's do it together. So yeah, I'll obviously, if you have any questions, just give me a call and we chat.
Cool. Hey guys, love it so much. Wait, could you guys do me a favor?
Sure.
Of course.
Could you close out the show for me with the music and everything? I wanna see this, but the Luis and Fonzie Biz Bros style, closing out the Al Nicoletti show. Oh, Mike, my producer, he's like gonna be all over the place on this.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed today's show, the Al Nicoletti show, please don't forget to share this episode. If it helped you move one step closer to your goal, please leave a 5-star review as well.
Yes, let's go. Show some love, guys. Show some love. And we'll see you. This is going to have to turn into like multiple episodes. Just going to say that. Just going to put that out. All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
You guys are amazing. I love it. I'll see everybody soon, and I'll see you guys soon, okay?
Absolutely, Al. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. If you want more content like this and the Biz Bros, the guys that are blowing it up on social media, make sure you check out the Al Nicoletti Facebook business page, the personal page, the YouTube channel, all the content that's out there, the Spotify, the iTunes, all the amazing guests, and the Biz Bros episode where content is profit and how you can blow up your business. Check out their episodes. Check out their YouTube channel. They are amazing guys, and I will see you next time on the Al Nicoletti Show. Take care.